and Magnus, and let's see what happened when we left it. Right on cue.
Rook D2,
King A4.
King's going hunting.
Yes, pawn hunting. King B5, H4, and we're expecting to take the pawn, right?
King B6, Rook B4, King C5.
Correct, and we're just ready to play
Yep.
B4, and after Rook B3, and he's done it. And for Vishy, I mean, this is just, oh, I mean, I can't imagine how painful this is because he's played a great event. He just had drawn with the black pieces, and if he had gotten past this test, I mean, you know, the goal of winning the event is, you know, in reach, and now he's going to go down to his first defeat, and this is just so painful because he's had a great tournament so far, just great.
All right, started with a draw, then won 3 games in a row.
Yep.
Then another draw against Fabi with the black pieces.
And it wasn't the opening. Maybe he was slightly worse out of the opening. It's just some remarkable play by Magnus, the Magnus
endgame.
magic, and yeah.
I think now it's just completely winning.
Exactly.
Black is passively defending. There's no counterplay on the king side.
Exactly.
It's just a matter of time.
And the rook will, if the rook goes back to b8, the rook will come to b2, and even at the cost of the f-pawn, you're picking up the rook, and that's the game. Win, and I have to say, you know, Magnus, after those back-to-back losses, to win against Vishy
The tournament
on
leader.
demand.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, if he doesn't win this game and stop Vishy, he's got no chances. I mean, Vishy will cruise. So our congratulations to Magnus, and that would be so sore. That's for Anand.
Magnus Carlsen, after his 2 straight losses in a row, faced Vishy Anand, and Magnus decided to play the exchange Caro-Kann, the exchange variation against Vishy's Caro-Kann. Vishy has been playing the Caro-Kann for a while now. Last few times Magnus Carlsen has played against Anand, Vishy has lost. And the latest was just 2 or 3 days back in the Global Chess League when Magnus won against Vishy. So in the exchange Caro-Kann, Magnus just develops his pieces and exchanges, and we get a very nice setup for white where pawns are defended, pieces are active, and Vishy has kept his knight on e7 to get to f5. So it's a very drawish looking position. f6. So Vishy goes for the central break, e5. c4. Magnus strikes first in the center. Takes, and now knight f5. Here Magnus plays a very active move, d5. And it's very difficult to say where Vishy went wrong in this game. If Vishy looks back at this game, he wouldn't find out where he could have. Probably it would be very difficult for him to find out where he went wrong. But it was just Magnus playing really well throughout. But this was one of those moments where it could have been slightly differently played to not give Magnus a nice, comfortable position. Here Vishy took, and it became very nice position for Magnus. Vishy could also have played knight a5, queen c5, and attack the bishop, and then maybe take. So put some pressure back and then take. After this takes, it's a very comfortable situation for Magnus. Bishop d7 and now queen b3. White's pieces are also well placed. And knight b5 is coming anytime that Magnus wants. Rook d8 and h3, bishop c8. Now queen a3, a nice move tickling the a pawn, basically. Now Vishy played knight e7 back, knight b5. And after queen b6, Magnus found a very nice response. He played knight a7, a move that would require a lot of calculation. He thought for like 3.5 minutes here and then decided to play knight takes. So the idea being after the exchange, if knight takes knight, there is rook takes knight or queen takes back. And in the game, Vishy played knight takes bishop, in which case Magnus had played knight takes bishop there. And now if rook takes, you have rook takes knight. And if the knight escapes, let's say knight cannot escape, queen's hanging. So if queen b4, then just exchange, and the knight comes to e7. It's guarded by the rook. So it'll be very equalish position. But okay, Anand takes on c8, takes, rook a8, and queen b3. This position is also sort of equal, but it's the extra pawn that Magnus has that decides the game. So it's the kind of position Magnus needed after those two losses. There's no chance he's going to lose this, and he can press on forever against an opponent who has a bad history with him in the past. So rook f7, rook e4, and then the pawn runs forward, takes, king comes in, white's king is closer and in the center, and knight d4. And here, after the exchange, the position again looks very drawish, but the extra pawn is good, and the white king is more active. So if you go deeper in the position, you'll see white is in a great position. Rook c4, and the rook enters. King comes in, rook comes back, and then the king goes hunting. f4 kicks the rook out of the fifth rank. Rook moves to f5, rook f2. Now h5 and check, and the king goes pawn hunting. So Magnus still has to decide whether to take here or not. It's an easy decision because after takes, the b pawn is passed and the white king is active. So very smooth conversion here for Magnus. Rook b3, and now king c4, and the pawn runs. The king goes up, and now the rook comes behind the pawn. So black gets the f pawn, but here Anand resigned because the pawn will make black give up its rook, and after that, the endgame is just winning. The king is not in time at all for any counterplay. So a very nice win for Magnus Carlsen against the old rival, the old World Championship challenger twice, Vishy Anand, the former 5-time world champion.